You're 13 years old. You've been saving your allowance for weeks. You open the game, convert your money into FIFA Points, and press the button. The pack opening animation begins. Cards fly. Colors flash. Your heart races. You get a bronze midfielder you've never heard of. You press again. Another bronze. Another. The stars never come. But the feeling, that rising excitement, that peak just before the reveal, that feeling keeps you pressing every single time. This is not a game mechanic. This is a slot machine inside a children's video game, and it is generating billions of dollars a year. EA, Electronic Arts, was founded in 1982. For decades, it was a game company. You bought a game, you played a game, you owned a game. Then, in 2009, FIFA introduced Ultimate Team, a mode where you build a dream squad, like opening randomized player card packs. The packs cost real money, converted first into FIFA Points to obscure the transaction. What you get is random, a superstar or a nobody, completely unknown until you open it. By FY 2024, this single mechanic was generating 73% of EA's total revenue, $5.5 billion out of a $7.56 billion business. EA no longer sells games. It sells randomized uncertainty. To children, the mathematics are deliberately hidden. The probability of pulling a top-rated player like Kylian Mbappe from a Jungle Rare player's pack was calculated at just 0.11%. That means on average, a player needs to open 847 packs to get that one card. Each pack costs real money. The math is the product. The crushing odds are the engine. And the people who suffer most from those odds are the youngest players, the ones who feel the dopamine hit most intensely, who have the least developed sense of money's real value, and who face no age restriction whatsoever on spending. Here is the neuroscience. The mechanism behind loot boxes is called a variable reward schedule, the same system that powers slot machines. Unlike fixed rewards, which are predictable and therefore boring to the brain, variable rewards are random. The brain cannot predict them, so it stays permanently alert and engaged. Each press of the button triggers a dopamine release. The near miss, almost getting the legendary card, seeing it slide past, activates the same brain circuitry as actually winning. For teenage brains, which are neurologically more sensitive to dopamine than adult brains, this effect is dramatically more powerful. This is not an accident. It is a design specification. The science has spoken. A 2025 University of British Columbia study led by Dr. Luke Clark, director of the Center for Gambling Research at UBC, followed participants over 6 months and found that those who spent more on loot boxes were significantly more likely to begin real money gambling later in life. Loot boxes mimic the same variable reward structure seen in slot machines, Dr. Clark stated. These mechanics are not just similar to gambling, they may actually lead to it. A separate 2025 Computers and Human Behavior study of over 1,400 adults linked loot box spending to gambling addiction, gaming addiction, anxiety, depression, and stress. The UK Gambling Commission confirmed in its 2024 report, 1 in 10 children who buy loot boxes show signs of problem gambling behavior. GambleAware found in 2025 that 50% of all loot box users experience some level of harm. The Five Rights Foundation found that 32% of UK children regret money spent on games, and 43% regret in-game purchases. These are not rare edge cases. These are the statistical reality of a system deliberately deployed with no age restriction, no spending limits, and no meaningful transparency about odds. In games rated suitable for children. EA knows all of this, and in 2017, the mask slipped publicly. Star Wars Battlefront 2 launched with key characters, including Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, locked behind a loot box paywall. The backlash was immediate and total. EA posted a response on Reddit defending the system. That post received 683,000 downloads, the most downloaded comment in Reddit history. It was officially entered into the 2020 Guinness Book of World Records. EA removed paid loot boxes from Battlefront 2 within days, but they didn't remove them from FIFA, because FIFA's loot boxes were making too much money to stop. In June 2019, EA VP Kerry Hopkins sat before the UK Parliament. She was asked directly, "Are loot boxes gambling?" Her answer became one of the most notorious statements in gaming industry history. She refused to call them loot boxes. She called them surprise mechanics. She compared them to Kinder Surprise eggs. She called the practice quite ethical. She said EA disagreed with evidence linking them to gambling. Belgium and the Netherlands had already banned them. 18 European countries had backed a formal report accusing the gaming industry of consumer exploitation. EA's response: Kinder eggs. Quite ethical. Belgium banned loot boxes under gambling law in 2018. EA immediately stopped selling FIFA Points in Belgium. The Netherlands banned specific loot box mechanics. As of 2025, 18 European countries have aligned behind reports calling for regulation. The UK stopped short of a ban but issued warnings. The United States has proposed legislation in multiple states. Canada filed a class action lawsuit against EA alleging illegal gambling operations via randomized loot boxes going back to 2008. A separate U.S. lawsuit seeks over $5 million in damages. The legal pressure is building from every direction. The industry response has been to change the terminology, not the mechanic. The numbers reveal what the words try to hide. In FY 2025, EA's Ultimate Team and live services generated approximately $4.4 billion. EA Sports FC24 alone generated $1.71 billion in Ultimate Team revenue in a single quarter. 3/4 of EA's entire business, built on randomized pack mechanics, is now classified as live services. The company that once sold you a finished game now sells you the uncertainty of not knowing what you'll get. The house always wins. In EA's casino, the house is also the game designer, the odds setter, and the only one who knows the exact probability of every pack ever opened. There is no age restriction. A 13-year-old with their parents' credit card can spend as much as a 40-year-old. There is no required disclosure of odds at point of sale in most countries. They feature the faces of athletes children idolize. And inside those games, underneath the authenticity of real stadiums and real kits and real player names, is a randomized spending engine that regulators in 18 countries have called exploitative. So the next time a child asks for FIFA points, or you're handed a credit card statement you don't recognize, understand what has happened. They were not playing a game. They were operating a slot machine that looked like a sports game. The dopamine was real. The excitement was real. The money was real. Only the reward was uncertain, by design, by calculation, and by corporate strategy. EA calls them surprise mechanics. Regulators call them gambling, and the children sitting in front of those screens, pressing that button again and again, chasing a card that has a 0.11% chance of arriving. They just call it playing.